else.
And it's about the ratio as well of the children, how many children are in the center and how many staff are in there. Like, happens to me once that they want me to be outside, and I was like with 8 children when I'm the free, and I straight away I went inside of the center and I said, sorry, but I'm only allowed to have 5 outside.
Yeah.
You know, like they kind of cross, but you know, I stood myself because I thought that something happens, the one is gonna, you know, will have trouble with me.
So it was 3-year-olds as
Yeah,
well
under.
as 4-year-olds.
Under 3. In a childcare center environment, you just have to be firm.
You have to be firm.
As long as you meet those ratios, though.
Yeah, that's what I
quite
mean.
Flexible, what you
know what
can
I
do.
mean? Because some stuff, the babies are sleeping, and it's one qualifier there, and you with 5 children or 6 children, you know, it's quite demanding.
Speak to your coordinator.
Yeah.
If you're not happy.
I straight away, you know, don't be afraid if you're a reliever to speak.
No,
you know?
that's right.
Yeah.
Because
just on that note, with this year, so what's been one of those things if people are paying fees and they've got 3-year-old children but their birthdays are late, and so sometimes in the past people have said, oh, the parents can come in and stay with them. We're really trying to rule that out. Your children can't come to kinder until they're 3. Okay, so just so that everyone knows that. So if you're at kinder and you're in a pre-kinder session, there should be people there that aren't 3. So
yep.
That's right. What else was I going to say about supervision?
I'll just add a little bit on supervision for relief staff. I've done a few investigations in the last 12 months where children have actually escaped from the kindergartens, and it's usually, as Julie said, a lack of communication between staff or relief staff who are unfamiliar with that dismissal procedure. So every kinder you go to, they'll do it a different way, and so I think it's very difficult for relief staff because they don't know the children or the parents, which, you know, to match up the child and the parent. So sometimes the assistant needs to step up and take that role because she's familiar with the families. But it's something that I would look at when you're looking at supervision to work out before the end of the session how we're going to manage this.
Yeah.
And same thing, blind spots wherever, you know. And if you're relieving, you'll find that every kinder will probably, their building is designed differently, so that means that you will probably have to be flexible and adjust to whatever that building requires.
And in the guide to emergency, whatever that was, there's a little plan there of supervision, so that'd be a good thing to have as well.
That's actually from our
This is from Alison's centre.
I think
But
you've got
each
to
centre will be
copy.
different.
Yes. Every centre would be different. Yeah.
So you could have a look at that as well to give you an idea. Now I'm going to have to quickly move on. We're going to run out of time.
What time have we got till?
Confidentiality.
10:30.
I'm sure you all know about confidentiality. So just being mindful of anything that you hear or see during that particular session stays at that kinder. If you're writing down anything, it stays there. And just, being mindful of the confidentiality side of things. I'm sure you're all aware of that as well. A lot of the centres you'll see this year will be doing 11 hours per week with the children. Each child is allowed to have 11 hours this year of kinder, so you might see different starts and finishings times. There are a few pilot projects, they're already doing the 15 hours, but there's one in Swan Hill. Is there any around this area? No, that's it. And we'll all be doing the 15 hours by 2013, so that's going to be interesting for all of us.
Fit it all in.
Yeah. Now, with the sign-in and out book and the attendance book, it is a legal document, so it needs to be filled out correctly, and it's important for relief staff to actually check it out during the day as well and make sure that everyone's signed in that's there, because if you have an emergency evacuation and you need to all get to your assembly point, you need to know that what's in that book are the children that are here, because, you know, if the parent forgets to sign them in, then you might not account for that particular child. So you just need to have a quick check, ask the other staff member to do that for you, or you do it yourself, you know, just who's here, who's not here.
There's examples in your booklet of that.
We've got 2 examples in the back of the booklet, of different ways of signing in and out, different registers. One's a book like this that comes from Bellbird that you buy and you just turn it over. I'm sure you've all seen one of these. And the other one is just a printed out form from the computer, same sort of thing. Yep, that's it. And they just print that out each day as a sign in and out record. So there's a couple of different ones of those there to have a look at. And at the end of the day, we need to check that again and make sure that everyone's actually signed down and who's taken them. And on the, you will find it a bit difficult, but on the enrolment form, we've put one of these in there for you. It's got who's allowed to collect each child and whatever. So if you're unsure about that at all, I would recommend that you ask the other staff member just to check, you know, is this person okay to take such and such?
It's a very good idea.
The accident and injury book, they've got some forms in there so you can have a look at it. There's an accident, injury, trauma record, and then the next form to that is a serious incident notification. That only needs to be completed and forwarded to the department if they need further treatment from what you've done at camp, like if they needed to go and see a doctor or if they went to emergency, well then you'd have to fill in the serious incident notification form and forward it to the department within 24 hours. With the accident injury book that's just kept at the kinder, we would recommend that the person who sees the accident fills it out, so you might actually have to do that. And
But you never send it off by yourself, particularly. You'd run it
the
past other
serious
people.
incident.
Yes.
I'm not talking about that. I was talking about the other one.
Yeah.
The serious
No,
incident form, I would sit down with the other staff member.
I think it actually
when you're
recommends
doing that.
somewhere to do that in consultation with the other staff member.
With the medication form, that's just if anyone needs to have medicine during the day, the parents fill that out and then you just complete that when you're actually giving the medication. 2 staff have to sign it. If there's
Excuse
if a child
me,
has
Julie,
long-term,
sorry to interrupt, but if you're giving medication or like assisting a child to use a puffer or whatever, should you have your other staff member witnessing while you administer that and check that it's the right dosage and yes.
I think, Kathy, in that there is a column that says checked by and you write the person's name.
And
Check
the
by
qualifier
and
is the one that gives the medication to the child. The person in charge, like kinder teacher or qualifier, diploma person, is the one that gives the medication, and the assistant is often the person that witness the medication.
I think as long as you've done your asthma
Yes.
training,
Do it together.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. As long as you've got that, you're right. And the emergency evacuation, which I touched on before, perhaps you could just ask, you know, where's your meeting point? What do you do if we needed to evacuate? Who picks up what? You know, the phone, the enrolment, the sign in and out book, I should say. And just one more last thing is, at the end of the day, if there's a child that's, you know, not being picked up on time, the 2 staff members need to stay until that child's actually collected. So your time might have finished, but then you'll just have to speak nicely to LNPA and they'll have to pay you for a bit longer because you need to stay there until the children are all collected and gone off the premises. Okay, Alison's moving on to the next part.
To program. So obviously all centres will operate differently, and if you've been around to a lot of centres, you've noticed that they all operate differently. So we're suggesting that you, particularly this is perhaps more for teachers, to refer to the program, which will be displayed usually at the entrance for parents to view. And it is a requirement of the regulations for the program to be displayed, and the children's names can usually be found near this as well, or if you haven't already found them, Joy said they'll usually be somewhere in the playroom. You will find or have found that programs can be presented and documented and displayed in a variety of formats and styles, and there's no set way for this to be done as long as it satisfies the regulations. And lots of teachers now are on a journey, especially with the new frameworks, and they are looking at different ways to display their programs. Plans for the day and the daily routine may also be displayed, and these will differ from centre to centre depending on the variety of things such as the weather, whether it's hot or cold or raining, and the children. But this isn't a requirement to be displayed, although a lot of centres do have them displayed. And by plans for the day, daily routine, I mean like 9 o'clock children arrive, 10 o'clock whatever snack, or it might be a staggered snack, or lunchtimes, whatever time, departure 3 o'clock or whatever. Some centres will offer different types of programs. So you may be familiar with these. So some may offer an indoor and outdoor program as opposed to an indoor-outdoor program. Now, can you understand the difference? Most of you probably know. Do I see yes, nods? If you are the relieving teacher, which Kath and we had a couple of other ladies over here and one here, it's probably best to be guided by the assistant if you're unsure about the program or the daily routine and so on. And she may say, look, we have finished with this activity and we didn't have anything planned, and then you might say, well, what are the children interested in? What do you think they might enjoy? Where should we head next? It's a bit hard, I think, for teachers going into a centre not knowing what's gone on before and not knowing the children. So you probably do need to be guided by your assistant, and usually they know.
A good fount of information and knowledge.
That's right. Now, we'll just go on to observations and documentation. So during the day, while you're with the children, you could take observations of them. This would be beneficial for staff, and point form is fine. If the centre has a camera or a video, feel free to use it. But just be aware that there may be some children whose parents haven't given permission for their photos to be taken. And just following on from that, occasionally a parent may want to take a photo of a group of children, and that's probably not on unless they get permission from all those parents to take the photo. And sometimes too you might have the local media suddenly arriving to take a photo of something. It might be Mother's Day or whatever, and again you need to check that it's okay that those children can have their photos taken by the local media. There is a space in the enrolment form for that authorisation, and I think it is also, it goes on further about being photoed for websites and that sort of thing too.
We had a child